Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Propulsion Swimming Podcast in what is going to be one of our biggest episodes of the year as we preview this week's World Championships 2023 in Japan.
Yeah, the big major championship of the season is fast approaching as the best swimmers on the planet descend on Japan in their bid to become world champions. A lot of fast swims have already happened this year, and I think we should expect a few more of that when the World Championships begin this weekend, which is just a few days' time away.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what to expect on this week's show from Propulsion Swimming? So, we are going to go through British swimming, the chances of the top guys in the UK, because if you aren't aware, me and Dan, we are avid supporters of British swimming. The whole ethos around the Propulsion Swimming Podcast is giving British swimming more of a platform to grow. So, let's tell their stories. Let's see what we think of the team going out to Japan. We will then touch upon the best swimmers in the world, the ones we think are going to stand out next week in Japan, or this week in Japan, if you are listening. And then we'll give some bold predictions, the races to watch, the world records we think are going to fall, and we might even finish with a quick fire round giving our predicted winners to each race. And you can keep track at home of how many we get wrong as well, because we will.
Yeah, well, we always, every time we have a guest on, we do quick fire questions, so why not do quick fire predictions for every race at the world?
Yeah.
So I think that'd be something everyone can get involved in, and maybe leave some comments below of whether you think we get it right or wrong. So something to get involved in.
Okay, let's kick things off then with British swimming. What is their outlook for them at these World Championships? Well, to me, Dan, it comes down to like one simple word: relay. Relay, yes. Relay. And essentially, if you don't know, British swimming over the past, well, at least the last Olympic cycle, put a big emphasis on relay medals and performing really well at those events. And it paid off at the Tokyo Olympics. And at this World Championships, there is the opportunity to qualify relays for Paris. Now, the way to do that is if you finish first, second, or third in any of the relay races at Fukuoka, you qualify for the next Olympics in Paris. You're done. Your team's in the books. However, if you're not in those top three, you then have to finish in the top 13 combined times, so the 13 fastest, or the next fastest times from this World Championships and Doha World Championships. And why these World Championships are so important to that equation is because British swimming are highly unlikely to send any sort of strong team to Doha in February 2024 because it messes with swimmers' training blocks leading into trials, which is essentially how these swimmers get picked for the Olympics. So relays are absolute paramount in Japan.
Yeah, and obviously you want to finish in that top three to guarantee yourself an automatic spot, which is, I assume, and which is, I assume, what every country is going to be striving for. I assume your Americas, your Australias, your Chinas, I suppose, as well, will probably fill those top three every single time for every single event. And I honestly think Team GB shouldn't be too worried about that as well. If the top 13 times are going to go to Paris anyway, I'm pretty sure our teams in every relay are at least a top 13 country.
You'd hope so.
That shouldn't be an issue. But the last thing you want is for one of our relays to get DQ'd, because then we have to get a team to go to Doha. That is a complete nightmare.
Do you know what? I don't actually think they do it. I think that's it. You're done. I genuinely don't think they send a team to Doha.
Oh, it's very cutthroat. I think we are not going to see very many tight relay takeovers. I think there's going to be a lot of safe ones just to make sure you get a time on the board, especially from a GB point of view, because let's say if that mentality of yours is correct, then if they get DQ'd, like let's say in the 4x2 men's freestyle relay, if they get DQ'd, what, you think we're not going to send a team to Doha?
No.
Wow, that's crazy for me. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think. But the emphasis is massive on relays, as I think the individual entrants, you can see the start list. There's not many 50s. There's a lot of swimmers been taken off relays from like withdrawals and stuff like that. So it's I understand it. I get it. But it is a World Championships. This is the second biggest meet in the swimming calendar. So it's a bit of disappointing from that point of view, but I get it.
Yeah, it's disappointing for me. Like the two biggest disappointments, if we go into like swimmers who aren't racing individuals, because we saw at the Olympics swimmers like Anna Hopkin pulled out of the 50 free, Jimmy Guy pulled out of the 100 fly to concentrate on gold medal winning teams. Rightly so, it paid off in the end. But at these World Championships, they're pulling out of races already to qualify for the next Olympics, which it's a big statement to do that. To say, look, a World Championships individual swim isn't needed. So, like you said, the 50s, like Ollie Morgan, Cam Brooker, don't get that shot in the 50 back because they are needed for that medley relay. James Wilby, who last summer won medals in the 200 metres breaststroke, international medals, doesn't swim it because they know he is fully needed on the 100 breaststroke leg in that medley relay because there's no add-on. Abby Wood pulls out of the 200 metres IM when she is a finalist, if not a medal opportunity. I get that the 200 IM is really fast right now.
Stacked, yeah.
Right, we'll get into that, but that's a big call to pull her out, and that is a sign of what they think the women's teams are capable of. So let's talk positives about these relays, and let's deep dive into it, because you mentioned it, the 4x2. I think the men's 4x200 meters freestyle world record is on this summer.
Yeah,
and I think they have a giant chance simply because you look at that Olympic winning team, they got very close. And these guys are going to be sharper. Tom Dean's not going to have done as much racing as he did out in Tokyo before that relay. And they're faster. It's a simple answer. They are better now. Tom Dean's arguably in better form than he was when he won the Olympics, like going into the Olympics. Matt Richards is in the form of his life. Duncan Scott looks incredibly impressive. And Jimmy Guy, when we spoke to him at trials, he'd never gone that fast at trials before in his life. Yes. They are all in an incredible place, which is why I seriously think the world record's on.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And we're going to get onto world record predictions anyway throughout this episode, and I think one of the world records that will go is this 4x2, because I'm just going to repeat yourself. It's very much Matt is going the fastest he's ever been. He's just gone a 1:44 from a flat start. If he goes on his third leg again, then he's going to go a low 44, if not a high 43. That'd be amazing. I think Tom Dean is going to be fresher. He went a high 45 in Tokyo, and they were fractions off the world record. He's going to go a 44, no doubt. Jimmy, we spoke to him at trials. That was the fastest he's been in 4, 5, 6 years. And then Duncan does what Duncan does, going a 1:43, 1:44 on his back end split. I don't know what the order's going to be, mind you. I've got no idea which order they're going to go to. Oh, really? Oh,
I was going to put you on before. I'll give you some thinking time.
Thanks.
The other thing they've got in their pocket is that they've got two really good heat swimmers as well in their back pocket in Jack McMillan and Joe Litchfield. Really strong heat swimmers that they can use essentially in the heats and rest guys like Matt. They can rest. I actually think Duncan's probably going to swim the heats because he's only swimming one individual. But they can rest Matt. They can rest Tom Dean, which is so important if they are going to get that world record, which I think they are. Dan, what order then? Who would you start the relay with?
I would honestly stick with the same order as what we had in Tokyo. So I'd lead with Tom because I think he's got the fastest opening speed, the fastest easy speed possibly in the world. He will be turning at the first 50 mark first, I think. Okay. Even ahead of like Popovici and those sort of guys. He will turn first just because he's got that easy speed. So I would want him leading. I would always end with Duncan because he's a great anchor swimmer. And then you've got Jimmy and Matt to fill the centre spots, which really don't matter which order you kind of go in, I think. But just stick with Matt going third, and then because he's now effectively our fastest swimmer this year, so make our fastest swimmer go third. I don't think it makes a difference, to be honest with you, what order we go in. We're solid everywhere.
I think a lot of people will probably say Matt's the fastest individual, swim Matt first. But I kind of quietly, in the back burner, Matt has probably the best relay takeovers out of the whole lot of them. Consistently, possibly. He is very, very low takeover time, so stick him in the middle. Stick him at the end, stick him in the middle, but Duncan at the end. I understand it, and it worked in Tokyo, just do it again. So that's one relay we're really excited by. What other ones are there? So I've got the men's 4x1. I'm kind of excited to see what they do. Like, I don't quite know if they're podium or not, but they very much could be. the depth is there. We don't quite know what like Jacob Whittle and people like that are doing, but then you've got Matt, Tom, Duncan potentially again, Lewis Barras.
Yeah, it's solid.
It's a very good relay team, and again, there's depth there. So that's one relay team I'm excited by, and we've already mentioned Abby pulling out the 2am. The other relay I'm excited by is the women's 4x2.
Yes, I'm quite excited about all of our relays, just because I think the 4x2 we know we're going to be quite good at it. I think gold is very much on the cards, potential world record like we were saying, and then the 4x1 is just exciting because I don't know how well we're going to do. The potential we have is extremely high just because the guys are all so young, and I reckon there's a few guys, maybe 3 or 4 of us now, that could go 47 points, which suddenly then is like, that's challenging podium sort of level then, which makes it very exciting. And then the women's side of things, even the 4x1, I'm not quite sure. Obviously, we're not up to the speed of the Australians. I don't think no one is, to be honest with you. But that's quite exciting with the girls coming through there. But the 4x2 is one to watch out for as well. When you've got the 2 Freyers, you throw Abby in there, you've got Lucy Hope in there, and there's a few names in there that could potentially, they're finalists, definitely, but if they can potentially snatch a bronze, I think that's really good going. It's tough. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that's you never know. You never know.
That would be a little bit of a surprise for me if they got a bronze.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Oh, definitely.
We've had a lot of positivity. I'm going to just put a careful word of warning here. The men's 4x1 medley doesn't look as strong, or they're certainly not as confident in it as they have been in years past, given that Wilby's pulled out of his individual to race what is going to be heats and finals for it. They need to get into that final. They need to swim fast, and maybe they're kind of suggesting they don't think they've got the fastest team on paper, because they're racing against some really fast teams in that medley relay, and GB's just taken a little bit of a step back with Adam not racing.
They could potentially snatch a bronze. I don't think that's out of the question. I think there's the 2 head-to-heads, the gold and silver, I think have gone, because you've got the Americans and you've got the Italians that I think are head and shoulders right now. But then it's a big old scrap for bronze.
I think Chinese. They got Zhe they've got a breaststroker that's come out. I don't know who their fly swimmer is, and they've got a freestyler who's gone faster.
They've got the freestyler
this summer.
Yeah. But they are missing the breaststroke is good, isn't it? So it's the fly swimmer.
Yeah, I think China have come on more than you think.
Yeah, that's true. I still think it's going to be quite a bit of a tussle between us two. And is there any other countries? Maybe Canada? Not quite sure. They've got the depth in the Canadian men's team, but I think the bronze is still on the table, you know. And I think that's quite a big one. If we can get a bronze in that race, that's a big tick. You know,
I'm interested to see what the 2 new backstroke boys do, because they both shown massive amount of potential at trials. I know Ollie Morgan stole all the headlines, but Cam Booker, last week's guest, really wasn't that far behind. So it's going to be whoever swims faster in the individual gets to swim.
I think that's the way it's going to go. Yeah,
what you'd expect. So I'm excited to see what those guys can do next to the likes of Chekon, Hunter Armstrong, Murphy, because they are going to have to race these big boys.
Well, they went to Seti Collie not too long ago, like last month or so, and so they have had a bit of an experience racing the big guys in the pool, so I don't think that will be a bit of an issue in terms of mental approach to the race. They just know they've got to go, ideally a low 53, to give us the best chance of getting on the podium. So yeah, it's a new competition for both of them. It's a debut for both of them, so it should be good. I don't think that should be an issue.
Okay. You think they're comfortably in the final? You think I'm being a little bit too pessimistic with this?
For the relay, I think we're fine for the final, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Where else then? So we've done the relays. Who else on the individual front is exciting us going into Japan? And I'm going to kick things off with, I'm going to start with our first bold prediction, because I don't reckon men's world record is a bold prediction. I think Cara Hanlon smashes the 100-meter British record. Ooh. I think she hammers it. I think it's gone.
When you say hammer, how big a margin are you talking about here?
Well, she got really close to it the other, month up in Edinburgh or Glasgow, Glasgow it was, wasn't it? She got really close with like 0.5 PB or something ridiculous.
Yeah, something like that.
I think she knocks off like 0.2, 0.1.
Oh, that's then
a
high
big improvement.
Yeah.
I genuinely think she's got that in the tank, and like, hopefully we speak to Matt Trodden on this podcast soon, because Edinburgh University are swimming really well, a lot of them. And I think she might, she probably won't even get the headlines written about her, but I think she will have a very good meet.
She just gets better as the season goes on, and that has proven to be the case over the last 2 years, I would say.
Yeah.
Something like that. The PBs have come, I wouldn't say they're massive PBs, but they have come gradually lower and lower every single time, and it's now got to the point where she's near enough on British record. I agree with you. I think the British record will go. When you say smash, I don't think it's going to be a smashing, but I think it's going to be like a really low 66, like a 66.0 or something like that. So she takes off 0.1 or something along those lines.
Do you know, it's just from when we spoke to her on the podcast, you listen to the backstory she's got. Now she's in the elite swimming setup. Just how much room there is for improvement. Like how you get to this level and you are setting Scottish records, but then you're only a year or two into an elite program. You've not had the elite club program that some swimmers have had. There's still the huge chance for progression, and I think we're still seeing that.
This is why we want Matt on the podcast eventually, because the stuff that they're doing up in Edinburgh, because it's not just her on the breaststroke front. You've got the Robertsons that are doing really well on the breaststroke side of things as well. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but we need to find out, because it's working at the moment. It is working. So yeah, best of luck to her. It's a bit of a tough field to get a medal in, I think, on the breaststroke event.
Oh yeah, I wasn't quite suggesting that.
Yeah, in terms of British records aims, then I think that's definitely on the cards. Yeah.
Other things I'm excited about then, Matt Richards getting his shot in the 100 metres free. So he kind of fluffed his lines a little bit in the final at British Champs, and he admitted he was disappointed about it. He certainly made up for it in the 200. But the fact that Duncan pulled out of the 100 free, so Matt now gets to swim at a world's level, I think there's a much faster swim still in him. And I think there could be a world's final in him as well.
I would agree with you. I think he makes a final, maybe let's say lane 5, 6, maybe even 7, something along that. Yeah, no,
5.
Quite a high. If you look at the rankings, 47.5, I think, is the top 5 in the world. So if he's going 47, I think he can go 47.5 or 6. Yeah, I do. Wow. Which is that's a final then.
Yeah.
Like he said, he's got more in the tank. Yeah, we spoke to him at the AP International, didn't we? And he wasn't shaved or tapered, and he actually went pretty fast then. I know he had Tom to race against, which was useful.
He had a 10k paycheck he wanted as well.
And that, yeah, of course he did, yeah. And so he said he's got loads more in the tank, and he wasn't tapered for that at all. And I think he went 48 low or something like that. So I think there's a lot more in there. So I'm really glad he's got the opportunity to do the 100. The 200, we obviously know how good he is at that, and he should make the final in that, and potentially even podium as well. So
yeah, do you think him and Tom can maybe challenge Popovici?
Yes, in terms of podium, I think they could potentially get a 2-3. I don't think they beat him, but it might be a 2-3 on the podium. That's what I'm saying. Will they challenge him? It's so difficult. I mean, Popovic's back-end speed is just out of this world. So you've got to turn ahead of him on that last turn.
I think they're in a really good place, though, because they're the fastest British swimmers like we've ever seen, really, in the event. Yes, Duncan as well, when he was swimming at the Olympics, but there's absolutely no pressure on them. And they're swimming 144s. There's no pressure. They're going into that final, and the eyes are not on them.
True.
Whatsoever. The eyes are on Popovici. So you think to have that weight lifted off you and to be that fast of a swimmer is very exciting.
That's quite rare, I think, as well.
Yeah,
when you're going in as Olympic champion, as Tom is, and yet he's going in as, I would say, a pretty big underdog based on what people are sort of saying. That is rare. That is really rare. But I'm going to stand my ground and just say you've got to attack the race, because you cannot be behind him or level with him going into the last turn, because Popovici he'll outdo you on the last 50. And I think they both know that, and hopefully they do attack the race, and then they've got to hold on for that last 50, and then anything can happen then. So quite exciting, and Matt is definitely one to watch out for, because he could come away with how many medals here? I mean, let's say the relays make their medals in a 4x1 and 4x2. 4x1 might be quite tough, mind you. But then you're looking at 100 free, 200 free, potentially 4 medals. That's good going. It's pretty good going.
Let's continue with the guys then. So one that is not going to be a surprise for many, Duncan Scott. I'm really excited to see him in the 2IM, given that he's now had a big training block where he knows that is really his only individual. Can he challenge the likes of Marchand and Carson Foster? Not sure, but this is the quietest his schedule is ever going to be at a major meet. If there is a chance that he's like fresh, like full guns barred, or to be fair, we know Duncan Racing Tired is the exact same proposition. I think there's a podium there. I really do. Whether he can get ahead of those two, I'd kind of hope he gets ahead of one of them.
It's really difficult. I think
you were almost agreed. You almost agreed.
Yeah, I don't know how close he'll get. Well, it's a pretty stacked race, that 200 IM. You've got the Chinese Olympic champion, of course, who we haven't even mentioned. You've got Marchand, you've got your Carson Foster. Then you throw in Duncan Scott. It's going to be very tough to break a top 4, to be perfectly honest with you. If there's someone that can do it, Duncan can. In Duncan we trust, obviously. But it's a very difficult race. I'm going to go with Marchand to win that one.
Yep.
Not comfortably, but he's winning. Carson Foster will give him a bit of a challenge, but yeah, Duncan's going to have to pull something really big out of the bag. Really big. He's more than capable. No, he's more than capable. I don't think it's going to happen. I just think the top two are so far. I wouldn't say so far ahead, but they're the top two. And then it's a bit of a scrap for bronze, I think, because there might be some more names that are throwing around in there as well. But Duncan could do it. He really could.
Yeah, I think we also maybe need to give Tom Dean a mention as well. Like we talked about him in the 2-3. He was very impressive in the 2 AM at Champs, and you think he's got a future in this event. I know you do. So if we're saying Duncan might break that top 4, well, so might Tom.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I've been staggered by his 200 IM. I didn't think he could do breaststroke strongly, but the breaststroke is getting good. And if your breaststroke is good, it's like you've got a slight advantage in an IM, as Marchand has been clearly demonstrating. And if he keeps progressing with that breaststroke, then he could be on the podium himself. So there's 5 swimmers there that could be
We've named 5
on the podium. There you go.
Nice.
There's 5 of them.
Nice.
So, yeah, very exciting stuff. And then Tom, of course, will be racing the 200 freestyle, which we've already mentioned. So he's obviously one to watch out for. So he could come away with loads of medals just like Matt as well.
I'm going to finish the guys' side quickly before we touch on which British women we're most excited for. Ben Proud, I'm kind of excited to see him going in at the 53 as an underdog, given the swim that Cam McAvoy did. Ben obviously had an all-world beating summer last year where he got all 3 major titles in the space of 2 months. But a 21-2, 21-3 is going to take some doing for Ben to get down to that level. I'm excited to see if he does, and maybe it might have just refocused his mind and really put I don't know, the metal behind him, but we know he's a very composed guy. He knows how to race those situations. He did it all last summer. He won every time. Just kind of excited to see that prospect. And then, this might be a surprise to you, Jacob Peters in the 100 fly. I think Champs, he had a very, very good chance to beat Jimmy Guy fairly comfortably in the 100 fly. We know Jimmy doesn't race fast that time of year. Jimmy will be fast in Fukuoka. But I think Jacob Peters is starting to become the number 1 fly guy, and this might be the marker laid down for Paris.
He's clearly been in the gym because he's getting big. He is very broad now. He's stacked. You were excited about the 100 fly. I think he would do quite well in the 50 fly. I think he could really cause a bit of a problem in the 50 fly for the podium.
He's still on the start list now, but do you reckon come racing time, if they need him in the medley, do you reckon they say, sorry, you can't do the 50 fly?
Well, Jimmy's only doing the 100 fly as an individual, so I don't think that should be an issue. I think Jimmy will just
erase all the heats. And
he'll probably just. I don't think so. I think it's only I say only a 50. It's still a race. It's still a lot of focus. It still takes up a lot of energy. I would keep him on there. If you've got a chance of bringing back a medal, I say put him in. I would put him in on the fly. It's going to be tough, especially the 100s. There are some fast 100 flyers going in right now. I know there's no Caleb Dressel, and I know there's no Christoph Milak. So it's quite open, to be perfectly honest with you. So if you're going 50 point low to mid, even 50 point, that's a final, which our British boys are capable of doing, and then anything can happen in a final. Jimmy, is just a fierce racer. So he could easily nick a podium, but then Jacob at the moment is swimming better. So It's quite exciting. I didn't really think about the 100 fly too much because I just thought, Jacob would do really well in the 50 and then kind of left it there. So, I'm quite excited about that. And then going back to Ben Proud, for example, if he's able to go, I think that if anyone's able to go 21-2, they win. So if Cam is able to repeat that same performance, he's won. Definitely.
He might have won by body length.
Yeah. The question is if he can repeat that performance, because from what I was watching at Australian trials, that was perfect. Like the breakout was sensational, the dive, everything was very, very good. But it just comes down to the day, and it obviously, you know what 50 like, it's a coin flip. But if Ben's able to go anything below 21.5, he's on a podium, or he's getting close to the podium. So anything can happen.
Okay, Dan, I'd say that's the guys I've pretty thoroughly done. So let's think about the best British women then that we're excited by this summer, and I'll kick things off with Freya Anderson. I think in a world where freestyle swimming on the women's side has moved on leaps and bounds in 2023, she's taken a leap as well, and it's been one that's a long time coming. And I think she very much is a finalist in the 200 meters freestyle, and then anything can happen.
Yes, I completely agree with you. And I remember saying in our review of our British champs that this might just be the swim that actually catapults her into bigger and better swims. Because she hadn't broken 156 for years.
3-4 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a long
2-3.
time. And the fact that she's now done that, it's a big old obstacle gone out of your mind. And I honestly think that she might even go mid to low 155, which then is... you're looking in sort of Ledecky swam 155 2, something, it's not too far away from that. So if she's able to go that, certainly a final. And then, God, I mean, I know the Australians are good at the 200 freestyle. I don't know what Molly O'Callaghan's like, mind you, because that knee injury, which I'm sure we'll get onto later. But she's got a very good chance. And I'm very happy that she has gone sub 156 just to get that mental block out of her mind, and then she can now move on and gain a bit of confidence from that. So I think she's one to watch out for, plus the relays of course as well.
And then for me, Laura Stevens, 200 meters fly. Summer McIntosh is leaps and bounds ahead of, well, not quite the world. Regan Smith is there as well. But Laura Stevens is swimming really fast. I think there's some really good things to come from her, and potentially Emily Lodge as well in the 2 fly.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring up Laura Stevens because she is, weirdly, for some reason, it seems like she's gone under the radar a bit, but actually she's ranked 4 or 5 in the world right now for the 200 fly, which is insanely good. Really good. If you kind of ignore the top 2 girls in Regan Smith and Summer McIntosh, she's right up there with a chance of a medal, potentially. I know you've got Elizabeth Deckers from Australia as well, who went 205 at the Australian Charge. You've got Zhang Yufei as well, so it's a bit of a tussle for that medal. But she is getting better and better, and from what I remember, she didn't really taper too much for champs as well.
They knew she was in a good place, so they kept training through, really.
They kept working her through, so I know you can't really judge it based on tapers and stuff like that too much, or can't dig into it too much, but if she has a proper taper, then who knows what she can do. That 206.6 that she did at champs was a PB. As far as I'm aware, I think it was a PB. So she can find another half seconds and go 206 low. That's good. That's a very good swim. That's a very successful season for her, I think, which bodes well and should give her lots of confidence and belief going into Paris, sorry. So, she's definitely one to watch out for from a British point of view, certainly.
And then for me, the 2 potential breakout superstars this summer, Freya Colbert and Katie Shanahan. Now, I know Freya Colbert's going to have a big role to play in the 4x2 relay, but both of them in the 4 AM have really, really strong prospects, and both have gone really fast times in a 4:35, 4:36 range. I don't think Freya's swimming the 2 back. Don't think she is whatsoever, just because of the relay. But again, she went to 2:08 at trials. That's a world's final.
Definitely.
Katie Shanahan, 2:07 in the 200 back. That is definitely a world's final, and I think that might be her best event to kind of make a dent in the world scene.
Potentially, yes. I really like both of their chances in the 4 AM. Take out Summer McIntosh, obviously, but the 4 AM is a really good shout. If they're going 4:35s, 4:36s, if they're able to find a second, then you're looking very strong in that event. I know we kind of we compare it with the world record, and you look at Summer McIntosh, and she's quite far ahead of the world right now, and she's like, I don't know, let's say 5, maybe a lot more seconds ahead. But if you just take her out of the equation, then actually they're right up there in terms of the world's best. So watch out for that race. The 4am is a very exciting race. The fact that they've both got very strong backstrokes. You said about Freya Colbert's backstroke is insanely good, to be perfectly honest with you. The fact that she doesn't, I assume she trains for it being a 4am, but to be a very strong 200 backstroker, when you know Katie Shanahan must train for it because that's one of her main events, and she's not too far away, she's like a second off. It's quite stunning, to be perfectly honest with you. But the 200 backstroke from Katie is one to watch out for, definitely. It's a weird event because it doesn't take a very fast time to qualify for the final. But then when you get to the final, it's really tough. Yeah, I mean, we were trying to think of some of the names like Panziera. Will be one to watch out for.
Yeah, Kylie Mass.
Katie Shanahan. Kylie Mass is another name we should probably talk about a little bit more. So it's going to be tough to make the podium, but I think the 2:07 that she can do is a final, certainly, definitely. And then if she can find a half second or so, then anything can happen.
I think women's swimming in this country for too long has been carried by the names of Freya Anderson, Anna Hopkin. There's not really been that big star. You've had Molly Renshaw retire. I think these two are the next ones who everyone's going to be going to meets and be like, oh my God, there's Freya Colbert. Oh my God, there's Katie Shanahan. I think this is the summer of like reckoning for them, like the making of them, really.
Well, they should already be there, and if they don't get, let's say, recognised or noticed from this summer, then they will in Paris. I'm pretty sure of that. I mean, we went to trials, and everyone was wanting signatures and signed autographs and all that sort of stuff from both Freya and Casey. So they are recognised.
That's true.
So they are doing really well, and I just hope that they do get recognised for what their ability is. Like, especially that 400M, like I was saying, they are the two of the best in the world. Like easily top 10, so it's quite strong, and they're very young, and there's a lot of development still to be had from both of those in both on all of their strokes, I suppose. So it's quite exciting from a British point of view, and maybe they are the ones to take up the mantelpiece of your main female swimmer, I suppose. If is that the right way to say it?
So. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because I suppose Abby Wood and Freya Anderson were probably up there with Molly Renshaw as well, after Abby did so well in Tokyo as well. So, but it's kind of a shame Abby's not doing the 200 IM, since that's her number one event.
Weird.
But again, it's relays. I get it, but it annoys me a little bit, But whatever. So
yeah, it does when she swam one of the only automatic qualifying times.
Yeah,
trials.
Yeah,
but hey ho.
Anyway,
I'll put you on the spot then. Medals. Is it a big chance for medals at this meet for Team GB? Are we targeting Paris and just stepping stones? What do you think the chances are?
I've actually got a little bit of a list here of potential medals.
I can see you've got more than a little bit of a list.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do. I mean, I think it goes to say that the men's 4x2, we're going to get a medal. I think hopefully it's gold, but we're going to get a medal in that, barring any disasters.
One.
That's one. I think we can. A lot of these are we might scrape some bronzes. So if I say the scraping of bronzes, the men's 4x1
Sounds
free.
horrible.
Yeah. The men's 4x1 free and the men's 4x1 medley. We might just about make the podium on those two.
I'll give you one. I'll give you one of two. I don't think they get both. Right. I'll give you one of two. Fair. So that's two.
That's two. Okay. And then you've got the men's 200 free, of course, which I think Tom and maybe Matt may both get on it, but let's just say one of them does for argument's sake.
Three.
I've also got the men's 200 IM in terms of Duncan, but we did just break it down then, and there's some big names to go in there. So, Duncan and Tom. I keep forgetting about Tom in the IM. So there's a chance for one of those to get that sort of bronze position if you're talking Marchand Foster to be ahead. Do you want to count that as one as well? Yeah, do it. Add it. Yeah, go on, do it.
That's four.
Ben Proud, 53.
5, done.
50 fly, either Ben or Jacob.
We kind of forgot about Ben.
Yeah,
he doesn't
there's
often.
Two of them again.
He doesn't always race it internationally, but yeah, I'll go. I'll
one
I'm
of those.
More confident in Ben than I am in Jacob in the 50, but Jacob beat him at trials. So
yes,
let's say gutsy 6.
Gutsy 6. Women's 200 fly. Do you reckon Laura Stevens might be able to sneak one? We're now getting quite tough now.
Oh. Just for being cautious and not getting too punchy, I'm going to go no.
Okay. What do you reckon about Wilby in 100 breaststroke?
Nope.
He didn't look very... He wasn't on top form, was he, at trials? But he does always pull it out at these major internationals.
I think it takes a 58 now to get on the podium, and I'm not sure there's a 58 there individually. Maybe in the medley relay.
Yeah, there's the Chinese swimmer. You got Nick Fink. I'm sure someone like
Marcinengi,
Kaminga. Yeah, all right. That's a hard field to break through. Okay. Anna Hopkin, 53. Anything can happen. But I think when you got Abby Weitzel, Sarah Sostrom,
Shayna Jack looked really good at Aussies.
Jack was very good. Yes, Emma McKeown as well. Okay, that's tough as well. But you never know. It's a 50.
We're still on 6.
Yeah, we're scraping the barrel here now. Men's 100 free. Do you reckon we get a 1 in that?
No.
Matt Tom. Tough one.
We'll go through the names in that one a little bit later on because I find that really quite... No, I didn't find it hard to call the winner. But you've got Popovici, who's going to get the gold. Then you've got Chalmers. Then you've got Grosset, who's swimming really fast for France. You've got Liendo.
Yeah. You've got the Chinese swimmer who's the world's fastest right now, Pan Zhan Li, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if that is wrong. So he goes in fastest. Again, it's a tough field. You never know.
I'm going to stick at 6.
The men's 100 fly. Do you reckon Jimmy will sneak one? Even Jacob potentially?
I'm going to stick at 6 and say relay importance.
Maybe, yeah. Shanahan, 200 backstroke. Brody Williams, 200 backstroke.
I kind of... I think to be cautious, let's set the mark. Propulsion swimming over-under is 6. We think 6 medals at this World Championships. Anything above would be great. Anything below...
I think 6 is a realistic target. I think that's a good effort. What did we get in Tokyo? Was it 8? So if we're able to go and get 6, hopefully 6. I mean that's pretty good going. When you've taken Adam out of the equation as well, who was a medalist in 100 breaststroke.
I tell you what, that would actually be a very good meet when you take Adam out.
Yeah, I think 6. That's a good target. I think 6 is 1 realistic and 1 possible to be hit. So, 6. What do you reckon? 6?
Let's put it at that then. Let's leave that as the mark.
6 it is.
Let's come back to this in 2 weeks' time.
See how wrong we are again. So.
Okay, then that's the British swimmers covered then. Worldwide, internationally, there is a massive list of swimmers who are super exciting. A lot of them very, very young as well. Now, we could dawdle on going through every single one of them, but I'm going to just name names and we'll touch upon each one of them as you want to, Dan. So we started with the men last time, so let's do it again on international side. I think the most exciting names going in for me are David Popovici, obviously, Leon Marchand, obviously, Thomas Chekon. Can he back it up after last year, which was incredibly impressive? Ryan Murphy has looked really good again over in America. So is Hunter Armstrong. Just the men's 100 backstroke as a whole, that event is exciting. Zach Stubblety-Cook, can he back up his world record last year? Questions about that one. We'll get into it when we call winners of each race because I might have a bit of a curveball for you on that one. And Josh Liendo.
Yeah. I mean, we've spoken already that Dressel and Milak aren't swimming it, so maybe this is his time to get his first world title. He goes in as fastest by 3/10, I think it is, on the 100. So, yeah.
Any of those boys that you think can get world records? So if we're talking world records, then we're talking Popovici, Marchand, and Chekon. Do you think any of them get world records?
I would love to see them all get world records. How about that? I'll put that out there first. Realistic chances of getting world records is very difficult, seeing as though Paris is next year. And I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, right. This is what I think. I think Popovici is going to just miss the 100 free time, but he will still go sub 47. So he's going to go 46, let's say 9, something like that. So he's going to do very well, and that's going to be good enough for gold. We'll do the predictions later.
We will.
In terms of world records, sorry, yeah. I think Popovici is just going to miss the 100. I'm still I don't think he's going to get the 200 just because I'm still standing by the splits just do not make sense in my head. So I'm going to say no for Popovici, but he's going to come away with silverware. The one swimmer that I am most excited about for getting a world record is Leon Marchand in a 4 IM. If he's able to get that swim at that world record, that is just monumental. And then especially because he's French, leading into Paris as well, whoa, that's just going to set him up hugely. Like that's proper celebrity stardom then. If he's able to do that, that's massive. 200 IM? Is he going to get in a 200 IM? That's a tough world record. That's really tough.
Again, that's one of those like perfect races.
Yeah.
Close to perfect.
Yeah.
Marchand in the 4 AM, I think, what is it? It's the longest standing world record of all time now. And I think it is very much on borrowed time. I think French champs, people thought it might go there, but it was the end of a meet for him. I don't know why. It was so weird in the schedule that they put it right at the end. But when it gets to an international competition, it's the first race. It's first day. He is fresh. He is firing on all cylinders. The other kind of big... I don't know if this is a motivating factor for him. If you break a world record at a World Championships, World Aquatics will pay you a lot more money than if you break it at a French Championships. So... there's kind of a big incentive to go smash it out of the park on the first day, and I think you get something like 10 grand. It might even be more than that.
Yeah, it's enough. Yeah, it's a decent amount. So it should be enough motivation to go and do it. Seems though he's, 4/10 off? So he's close.
I think
especially with his breaststroke right now, geez.
That might just be the only men's one to fall.
Yeah,
I don't want to give... See, I've got a massive prediction later on in the predictions bit. And I kind of could give the ball away here by saying it might be a world record, but
do you want to save it?
I'll
keep
save
people on the edge of their seat. Is that what you're trying to do here?
Wait until we do our quick fire predictions, and then I'll say I think it's gone there. So the men's side.
You mentioned Thomas Chekon as well. That 100 backstroke. I assume you're talking about the 100 backstroke. That swim was a near perfection swim as well. So that's going to be a very difficult world record to hit. What was it? 51.8 was it? No, 51.6. God, I can't remember. Yeah, it's late. But yeah, no, that swim will be very difficult to break, and I don't think that's going to go at this Worlds either. So I'd like to see Marchand get one. So I think if you're looking at the men's side, yes, the 4x2 men's free relay for British team, I think they might potentially get one. And then Marchand in a 400 IM, I think he will get it.
Yeah. It's going to be weird World Championships because for so long, like men's swimming has been hyped up as the best thing since sliced bread. But actually, going into these World Champs, I think the women's side is much more exciting.
Oh, it's mega. Yeah, it's so exciting. So go on then, you list your names. Go on.
Okay. Summer McIntosh, Regan Smith, Kaylee McKeown, Katie Ledecky, Ariane Titmush, Siobhan Jorge, Sarah Shostrom, Lily King, and I've not even mentioned Emma McKeon. I've not mentioned Maggie McNeil.
Zhang Yifei. There's a few. Yeah.
There's loads. Out of those, Summer McIntosh, head and shoulders for me, the most exciting. She's got 4 races. She could potentially come away with 4 individual golds. I'm disappointed she's not swimming the 2 AM.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Close to gutted because I kind of thought, like, if anyone's getting close to Hosu, maybe this is the swimmer who was going to get down there and like on paper as well, that's one of the best head-to-head, or it was one of the best head-to-head races in the world between the top 4 swimmers. Now it's the top 3. It's still one of the best. But yeah, she's a superstar in world swimming. This is just going to be... I don't want to say a crowning moment. She's only 16, 17.
She's already there, to be fair. She's already there. What does she do? Like Canadian trials this year, what was it? 3 world junior records and then 2 senior world records. All of that in 1 week. I mean, it's very, very possible that she does it all over again in the World Week as well. Especially the 400 IM. I think that's well on the cards again. The 400 free is a massive showdown. But yes, she is a superstar already. Moving on to other names, you've spoken about Regan Smith and Kaylee McKeown. That head-to-head on the backstroke events, core. My God. When we do the predictions later, I've brought a coin with me for the 100 backstroke, and I'm literally going to flip it because I do not have a clue. Yes, I brought a coin with me. 20p.
I love that.
Because I couldn't call it. I can't call that race. I think the world record goes in both those events, by the way, as well, the 100 and the 200.
Whoa.
I've got.
Do you think Katie Ledecky can get the world record in the 8 and the 15? She's looked as good as she's ever looked in those events.
That was super impressive at the American trials, wasn't it? I think the 800 is a bigger chance for her, I think, to be 2 seconds off.
Okay.
It's an interesting one because we spoke to Andy Manley, and he said that because the women have only just started the 1500 and the men have only just started the 800, they're not as used to racing those races. I think that's what he was saying.
On the Olympic stage.
On the Olympic stage, yeah. Paraphrasing, of course, I'm here. But Ledecky might be better suited to racing the 800 more so than a 1500 still. Mind you, this happened ages ago, so she's probably capable of, or just as comfortable on both races. But I think the 800 is on the cards. The 1500 might just be out of reach, but the 800 is there potentially, and that's a monster world record, mind you, as well. Ace 04, I think it is. That's a ridiculous world record. So she's able to find a little bit extra off that. Man, that's insane. That's an insane time.
Yeah. Any other women that you're really looking forward to before we kind of do quick fire predictions, and then I'll finish by asking you your race of the week?
All of the names, to be perfectly honest. We spoke about American trials, obviously, and Lily King is just. I wasn't expecting Lily King to do so well. The times that she hit were the times I was sort of expecting her to do in Tokyo. So I think she's one to watch out for. Sarah Sjöström, she hasn't swam. Well, she's done really well in the 50s so far this year, but not so much in the hundreds in terms of times. So I think be watchful of her on the 50s, I think, is another one to watch out for. Sean Hawley is always there on 100, 200, not the 400, 100 and 200. 100 and 200, she's there, definitely. So it's a very exciting for women's swimming at the moment. I'm more excited for the women's events than I am the men's this year, definitely.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we do quick fire gold medal predictions then, Dan? And they'll be as quick fire as we can because some of them are quite hard to pick. Yeah. We're going to go event by event. We'll start freestyle, then fly, then back, then breast and IM, and we'll call out the men's winner and the women's winner. Okay, so who wants to go first then in the freestyle events?
Well, I'll go first. All
right, okay. 53 then.
I'm going to go for, I know Cam McAvoy is going in fastest, but I'm going to actually go Ben Proud, and I'm also going to go Sarah Sjöström.
Oh, nice. I've gone Ben Proud, Sarah Sjöström.
Oh, perfect. Perfect
Good
start.
Stuff. 100 freestyle.
I've gone for Popovici, and I've gone for Siobhan Hawley in 100.
Oh. Okay, so I have gone Popovici and Kate Douglas, which is a gutsy call, given O'Callaghan and McKeown.
She did very well at American trials. I mean, she had a real breakout performance, I thought. But yeah, I've gone for Hawley. She's just always consistent for me. She will always be on the podium, and she's got a great chance of medaling. That's literally my only reason. I could flip a coin on that event. It's wide open.
200 free.
Popovici again, and I've gone for Summer McIntosh.
Oh, I kind of need your coin here. I've gone Popovici, and I was going to say McIntosh, but it was a coin flip, so because you've gone McIntosh, I'm going to go O'Callaghan, and I presume her knee is good.
Well, that's just it. That's the reason why I haven't gone for Molly O'Callaghan, just because I just don't know what her knee situation and her injury is like. That's the only thing. If she wasn't injured and she was going in 100% healthy, I think I would have gone Molly O'Callaghan as well, but I've gone for Summer McIntosh.
For free.
Elijah Winnington and Summer McIntosh.
Ooh, I went Sam Short and Summer McIntosh.
Oh, interesting. So we don't think Titmus and Ledecky are going to get the 400 free. Wow.
No. 800 free.
This is why I've gone Sam Short and Katie Ledecky.
I've gone Sam Short to do the double and Katie Ledecky.
Very good.
1500.
Katie Ledecky again. And again, this is a tough old race. I didn't put an answer for this one. I'm going to have to... Oh, man. Bobby Fink. I'm going Bobby Fink.
Ooh, Oh, so 1500. This is a coin flip for me. I'm stuck between Wellbrook and Whiffin, and
Dan Whiffin.
I'm gonna go Dan Whiffin because Wellbrook's just done 15k open water, and women's side I went Ledecky.
Oh, listen, if Dan Whiffin gets a gold, that'll be insanely good.
Yeah, I've gone with my heart here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'll go first then on the fly events. 50 fly. I have gone Grosset and Sostrom.
Nice. I've actually gone. I was torn on the men's side. I've gone Chekon. I'm going to stick with Chekon, and I agree.
Oh, I quite like that.
Yeah.
100 fly. I've gone Grosset to do the double.
Oh, Grosset again. Wow.
And
okay.
I've gone Tory Husk.
Oh, interesting. I've gone Josh Liendo. I think there's big things to come from him. And Tory Husk, I agree. Tory Husk. Interesting, seeing as Sostrom is the world record holder on that event. So.
Tory Husk is flying in it. That world record could be under threat.
Yeah.
2 fly. No Milak, so I have gone Honda.
Okay.
And McIntosh.
Oh, okay. I'm torn between Honda and Carson Foster, and I'm leaning towards Honda as well. But then I've gone Regan Smith in the 2 fly.
Yeah,
but it's very difficult because she did that time back in December, I believe, which was a long time ago, and she went 2.5, was it, at US trials? Going top of memory here.
I think the focus is the back as well, which is why I went McIntosh.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it now, Regan Smith. So yeah, tough one to call, that one.
Okay, you called the backstrokes then. 50 back.
50 backstroke. Hunter Armstrong, I think, will do it. And I've gone Regan Smith.
Oh, Hunter Armstrong, Regan Smith.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. 100 back.
100 back. I need my coin for this one. I've gone Ryan Murphy in the 100 backstroke. I think he steals it. And then let me just flip my coin for this one. Hold on a minute. Oh, wait. Heads for Regan Smith. Regan Smith. I've gone 4, apparently. Okay. So as the coin says.
I've gone Hunter Armstrong to do the double.
Oh, okay.
And Regan Smith.
Oh, I'm so torn on that one. I can't decide for you. 200 backstroke. I've gone Ryan Murphy to do the double. And then Kaylee McKeown.
I've gone Ryan Murphy and Kaylee McKeown.
Oh, okay. We're agreeing on some.
Yeah. 50 breaststroke then. I have gone men's side Martinengi and Ruta Militite.
Yeah, I've gone out of the box a little bit here. 50 breaststroke, I've gone Nick Fink.
Okay.
And then Ruta as well on the women's side.
100 breaststroke, I went Nick Fink in the 100. I actually think he gets the better of the Europeans this year. And then I've gone Lily King for an American double gold.
Yep, nice. I've gone Nick Fink and Lily King as well, I agree.
Oh, really? Now, 200 breaststroke, here is the big one. The one that I said might be a bit of a surprise. I got Leon Marchand for a world record.
For a world record? Here we go.
In the 200 breaststroke and Lily King.
Blimey. Okay.
I think he is flying.
I was torn between Zach Sobity-Cook and Leon Marchand as well. I assume Leon Marchand's going to be doing the 200 fly as well. So there's going to be the 4 IM, the 2 IM, you've got the relays, you've got the 200 breaststroke. He's going to have a pretty stacked program, but he is doing hard training with Bob Bowman right now. He's training better than whatever Phelps used to do.
Quick fire, Dan. Quick fire.
I'm so sorry. Yep. I'm going for Zach Sobity-Cook and Lily King.
IMs, 2 IM. Who are you going with?
Leon Marchand and Kate Douglas.
Oh, I've got Leon Marchand and Kate Douglas.
That's a hard race to call that 2 IM. My God.
4 IM.
4 IM. Leon Marchand again, world record hopefully, and Summer McIntosh, world record hopefully.
Yeah, exactly the same. Leon Marchand and Summer McIntosh. So I've ended with 3 Marchands here.
You have, yeah. True, yeah.
Gutsy. Okay, I think we were fairly similar on all of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's end this then with what do you reckon is your race of the week? What's it going to be?
Oh, there's lots, but
if you were to tune in, if you were to pause work for that hour and tune in for that race or whatever, 10, 15 minutes, skive off, what race are you picking?
I have bigged this race up for years now. The women's 400 freestyle. That is a mega three-headed snake of a race, that one. That is nice. A big race. But there's plenty more on the women's side. What about you? Anyway, go on, let's do yours.
I never thought I'd be saying this. The men's 1500.
Yeah.
If I am picking any race, I can't, like, I know why I chose Whiffen. I can't name the podium, let's be honest.
Yeah, no.
It's so deep at the distance end of men's swimming right now, and I just want to sit back and, if I'm getting to skive off work and enjoy a race, I may as well make one that's like 15 minutes long.
Make use of your time, I get it. Yeah, right.
Okay, I think that just about rounds up this week's episode of the Propulsion Swimming Podcast. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, our main YouTube channel, over there will be videos for our swimmers to look out for in the week, our races to look out for. If there is a world record, we will hopefully do a world record breakdown of that race. And me and Dan are going to be back on the podcast scene in 2 weeks' time. So there's not going to be a podcast during the World Championships. There's no point. Everyone's going to be watching. And we are actually going to be in Sheffield for the British Summer Championships as well. So we are very busy. So if you see us on poolside in Sheffield, come give us your predictions. Come say me hi. We'll be filming lots of hopefully great age group swimming in Britain. But that just about rounds up this week's episode. And me and Dan will see you in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, thank you for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you on the next one.
You've been listening to the Propulsion Swimming Podcast with Scott and Dan. We want to thank you for joining us and invite you to subscribe to the show, as well as checking out the Propulsion Swimming YouTube channel for weekly tutorials and videos to get your swimming fix. We will be back next week. Until then, we'll catch you on the next one.